again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with the continuation of the Alpine Stitch hat, and we are on round 10. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're enjoying this tutorial so far. All right, so we just did in round 9. It was a round of single crochet stitches for a total of 60 stitches. Well, we have one more increase round, and then we get to do sort of a straightaway with a staggered pattern, and then the ribbing. So I would say most of the hard part is over. So if you're still with me, congratulations. You got over quite a hump. So starting off by chaining up of 2. Again, this chaining up of 2 does not count as a double crochet, just giving us the height. Okay, so, and this is the chain 2 from below, this one right here. So we've got 2 double crochets, front post around the first one. And it would help if I had all of my plies, wouldn't it? There we go, and pull up that loop, give yourself some slack, otherwise your piece will pucker. Okay, so we have our front post. Then into the next single crochet stitch, do a double crochet stitch. Then front post around the double. Okay, so front post, double, front post. Now, that first double crochet, that was our increase. So right now we need to skip. See, we went into this one here, so skip that next single crochet and double crochet into the next. Front post around the double crochet down below. And skip that single, double crochet into the next. So it's working in increments of 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so it's increments of 6. And that first one right there, that's that increase. So let's do that again. So we have our 2 doubles, just like we started with. So front post around the first double. Double crochet into that single, that first single. Okay, and then front post around the double. Skip a single, double crochet into the next one. Front post around the double. Skip a single, go into the next with a double. And that is the repeat for round 10. So we should have 12 stitches at this point because we've got our chain 2, which doesn't count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far, so good. And we have our 2 doubles once again. So front post around the first double. Double into the first single. There we go. Front post around the next double. Skip a single, going to the next with a double. Front post around the double. skip the single, go into the next with a double. And we have our 2 doubles again. So front post around the first double, double in the first single, front post around the next double, skip a single, going into the next with a double, front post around the double, skip, and then double. All right. And let's keep going. So we have our 2 doubles, front post around the first, double into the first single, front post around the second double, skip a single, double into the next, front post around the double, skip one, double into the next. And then we have our 2 doubles down here once again. All right, so basically that's all you have to keep doing for the rest of this round. And, just remember it's increments of 6. Also, nice way of seeing it is that you're basically alternating between double, front post, double, front post, double, front post, whereas down below you have 2 doubles together. You don't have 2 stitches that are the same next to each other in this round. Okay, so that being said, just keep on going in the same fashion where you are doing a front post and then a double in the first, then a front post, and then skip the single, double into the next, and then do the front post, skip, and then double. All right, so just do that all the way around until you reach the beginning, and then you're going to slip stitch into the top of that first front post double crochet stitch, and you should have at this point a total of 72 stitches. And that's the number of stitches that I find works for an adult-sized hat. Now, you may be thinking, okay, this really, it hasn't turned into like a sort of a cup hat, sort of a hat shape. Well, when you start working the stitches evenly with no increasing, that will happen. Okay, so at this point, yeah, it's not really, it doesn't quite have that shape just yet, but it will pan out, not to worry. Also, we will be changing the hook size. That does help also when we're doing the brim. But for now, just finish this round 10, and I will meet back up with you for round 11. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, round 11. At the start of round 11, yes, you should have a total of 72 stitches alternating back and forth between front post and regular double crochet stitches. And yeah, it's going to be another one of those single crochet rounds, and this is really how the rest of the project is going to work. As far as, it's every other round, just single crochets, stitch for stitch. All right, so going to chain up 1 and then single into that same stitch and single crochet your way all the way around. And then when you reach the end of the round, do a slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch, and you will be hunky-dory. Now, the only thing, like I've said before in the first part of this tutorial, I would strongly suggest to count your stitches. It doesn't hurt, it just takes a minute, and it will save you some grief later. So, that being said, I'm going to do the rest of this round off camera because it's that simple. And I will meet back up with you for what is essentially the repeat of the 2 rows that are offset. Okay, that's essentially the deal. And so I will see you for round 12. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, so we finally made it to the 4-round repeat, which is essentially a 2-round repeat as far as simplicity goes. So it's rounds 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so for round 12, we are going to be doing our front post stitches and the double crochet stitches. Then for round 13, it's just going to be a round of single crochet stitches. Then round 14, it's going to be the offset of 12, 15 more singles. Don't worry, we'll get through it. So going to chain up 2 just to give us the height. And so this right here is our chaining up of 2 from before. So the first stitch there is a front post. So that being said, the first stitch up here is going to be a double crochet stitch. So you're basically going against whatever is down below. You're doing the variation, the opposite. So front post down here, so it's a regular up here. And so right now it's just going to be alternating back and forth between regular double crochets and front posts down there. Now, so because you don't want any increases, you are always going to be skipping that next single crochet stitch. So we have our double crochet, so front post around the double down below. And skipping that next single crochet in the back, double into the next, front post around the double, skip the single in the back, go into the next one with a double, front post down below, skip that single, go into the next one with a double, and you can check your work on the back to see, are you doing it correctly? So as you can see here, I've got a double, skipped one, double, skipped one, double, skipped one, double. So if in doubt, you can always look at the back of your work. I find it helps sometimes, any little trick that you can use to your advantage, why not? Sometimes it's just a matter of perspective, right? So we did our double, so then front post around that double down below, and then skip that next one, that next single, go into the next with a double, front post around the double down below, skip the next single, double in the next, front post down below, skip the next single, go into the next with a double, front post down below, skip the next single in the back, do a double in the next one. And that's all you have to do for the rest of this round. Just make sure that your stitches are offset. Otherwise, it's not going to have the texture that you're going to want. So keep on going all the way around, and because we started with a double, you would be ending with a front post. See, we have the front post here, so you'd be doing the double above it, and then you would be doing the front post right here, this one here, and then slip stitch into the top of that first double. Okay, then for round 13, you would chain up 1, single crochet all the way around, and slip stitch into your first single crochet. Okay, you guys got this. I know you do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up round 12 and round 13 off camera. I mean, round 13 is pretty self-explanatory. And I will meet back up with you for round 14. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Okie dokie. So round 14. Now round 13, yeah, I did the entire round. It was just single crochets all the way around, no increasing. Again, keeping consistent with a total of 72 stitches. So for round 14, going to start by chaining up 2 to give us the height. And then this one right here is the chaining of 2. So the first one is a double crochet stitch. So down here, I'm going to have to do a front post around that first double. So the last one, it started with a double. This one, it starts with a front post. And that's what I was talking about as far as the staggering offset of the round 12 and round 14. It's an alternate, it's an offset. Okay, so we did our front post. So then going to do a double crochet into that next stitch there, and then front post around the double down here. And then going to skip and then double into the next one. And then front post around the one down below. And then skip one, double into the next. And then front post down below. And skip one, double into the next. See, when you're starting this row, you don't get a chance to skip because it's right at the beginning, but you do, after that. So we just did our double, so front post down below, just as long as your stitch count remains consistent. That's the important thing. So we did the front post, skip one, double in the next, front post down below. And again, be sure to pull up that loop when you're doing your front post. So you don't want your piece to, pucker inwards too much. You don't want that. So we did the front post. So skip one in the back, double into the next, front post down below, skip one in the back, double in the next. Really that easy for the rest of this round. Okay, now, again, as I said before, you could always turn your work. Focus, please. Thank you. You can always turn your work and check out the back to see, all right, did I make any mistakes? Because it's double, skip, double, skip, double, skip, etc., etc. So, checking out the back of your work, sometimes it's a little bit easier to spot mistakes as they happen. Just, again, it's a little trick. All right, so that's going to be the remainder of round 14. Just go all the way around in this fashion. And because we started with a front post, you would end with a regular double crochet. which would be right above this front post here. And then you would slip stitch into the top of this front post right here. And then for round 15, chain up 1, single crochet all the way around. And then it's a matter of repeating rounds 12, 13, 14, and 15 for as long as you want your hat to be. And then when the edge of your hat, I mean, this is how I do it. This is my personal preference. When the edge of your hat, it reaches just over the tip of your ears, just covers over the top of your ears, then we're going to be working on the brim of the hat. Now, the brim, it's going to be, I want to say, 1.5 to 2 inches, roughly speaking. So give yourself that much, leeway as far as how much further down you want it to go. You don't want it covering your eyes, right? Well, maybe you do. I don't know. So keep going, repeating rounds 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then, or you could end on a, sorry, mental flatulence. You could end on either a round 12 or a round 14. You want to end on one of your double crochet, front post double crochet rounds, because the following round we are going to do something just a little bit different. Okay, so end on one of these rounds. Don't end on a single crochet round. Okay, and I will meet back up with you, okay, for round 16, if you will, even though, we're going to be doing many repeats of rounds 12 through 15 in between. Okay, so I hope that all makes sense. So I will meet back up with you, and I will see you in a bit. Okay, so get to work. Alrighty, so after repeating rounds 12 through 15 over and over and over, as long as you want your hat to be, round 16 is where we're going to start working on the brim, okay? Now, no, there's nothing wrong with your TV set. I was working on another piece, and I just kept going on and on in the same fashion. This is also Red Heart Super Saver Ombre in the colorway of Anemone. Say that 5 times fast. And so at this point, what we're going to be doing is we're going to switch our hook sizes. And I'm going down to a size H, a 5mm hook. And like I said before, you want to end with your J-sized hook on one of your rounds with the doubles and the front posts. Because right now, going to do a round of just the single crochet stitches using the smaller sized hook. It will help to sort of squinch it down just a little bit. Now, regardless of whether you ended on a round 12 or a round 14, really, it doesn't matter. So at this point, going to chain up 1 and single crochet my way all the way around. And again, keeping consistent with your total count of stitches, which is still 72 stitches. So I'm just going to go all the way around with my single crocheting, and then, my dears, we are going to do the ribbing. I always like to do ribbing for the brims of my hats. I think it gives a nice, simple yet polished look. So that is what I'm going to opt for. Now, of course, you can do any sort of brim that you want to. More power to you. But this is how I'm going to be doing it. So I'm going to finish round 16 off camera, and then I will show you the ribbing for the brim, and we'll be good to go. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so for round 17, well, round 17. Going to start off by chaining up of 2. And so for round 16, it was just single crochets all the way around in the smaller sized hook. It sort of primes the way for where we need to go. Excuse me. Okay, so now right down here, this was the chaining of 2, right? So we have a front post to begin with. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to back post the front posts and front posts the regular ones. So we're going to have the ribbing start inversely with what we have here. So going to go around from the back this front post right here. So turning over, going around the back and through. We're going to capture this bar, this post, with a back post, double crochet stitch. There we go. So we have a back post, and then this double crochet front post around it. So front post. And again, pull up your loops. Give them some slack to work with. And then back post around that front post. And there we go. So back post. And then front post around the double. And then back post around the next. Front post around the next. So we're just alternating back and forth, doing a front post with the doubles and a back post with the fronts. And yes, it can be a little bit fiddly, but it totally works. So front post around that double. And then back post around the front. That is to say, around the front post stitch. So back post. And I hope you can see what it is that I'm doing. Let me see if I can do that a couple more times for you. So front post, I mean, the front post is what we've been doing the entire tutorial, so that's nothing new. It's the back post that I want to make sure that you got. So yarning over, going in through the back, in between those posts, and then around that post, grabbing the yarn, and then pulling it through, and then through to the back, so that you have your 3 loops on the hook. Pull up that loop, and then pull through 2, and then pull through 2. And then front post, and then back post. Pull that yarn around that post and up. And I missed my yarn over. That's okay, we can always do it again. There we go. Ta-da! And so this is going to create the brimming for the hat. So finish this round, go all the way around, alternating between doing front and back post double crochet stitches, and then when you have reached the last, so this would be a back post, this would be a front post, and then into the top. Actually, you know what? I'll meet back up with you, okay, when I'm about finished with this round, okay? So I'm going to do most of this off camera. I'll be right back, okay? I'll see you in a bit. Okie dokie, so I'm almost done with round 17, figuratively speaking. And so I just have a couple more stitches left to do. So I did my back post. All right, so onto the front post. And then a back post. And so forth until I finish up this round. And then I'll show you how to go about doing every subsequent round thereafter, which will be essentially the same thing as round 17. And you can make this brim as wide or as narrow as you want to. It's totally a matter of personal preference. Okay, so I did my back, and now I need to do my front. There we go. And we are ready for the slip stitch join. Okay, because right here, that's where we have our chaining up of 2. So into the top of that first back post, slip stitch into the top of that back post double. And there you go. All right, so then for rounds 18 through however many you want, you would then go about continuing on in the same fashion by chaining up of 2. And so there's a back post, hidden behind there. So going to do a back post around that back post. Now it helps if you sort of squinch your stitches down so you can actually see the post. So going to do a back post around that back post. And then front post around the front post. And then back post around the back post. Front post around the front post. If you do more than 2 rounds, it will become easier. The first one's a little bit tricky because it's sort of squinched in with the previous round. But yeah, you're just going back and forth between doing front posts and back posts all the way around, just following suit. You're not doing the staggering anymore. Things do not have to be offset anymore for the brim. There we go. And yeah, so you just do this all the way around, and then you would, of course, slip stitch to the top of your first back post double crochet. Or if you ended your regular stitching on a different round, it would be a front post. Either way, I mean, it follows suit the same way, and it's pretty arbitrary regardless. It's okay. So that is how you would complete your hat. Gorgeous. So there you go. And, so just, keep going around. And then if you want to add another couple of rounds, more power to you. But I think that this, for me, is a wide enough brim. So there you go. Alrighty, my dear, so that concludes my Alpine stitch hat tutorial. I really hope you liked it. I love, love, love the texture and the squishiness of this particular hat. The increasing, yeah, it's a little bit fiddly, but once you get the hang of it, it really, really flies by. So listen, if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give a little thumbs up button down below because I appreciate your appreciation. And subscribe for more because I'm always posting, whether it's crocheting or knitting or audiobook narrations or origami or stuff in the kitchen. Yeah. And of course, my other YouTube channel, Fiber Spider Games, where I do video game playthrough and commentary. A lot of fun. Would love to see you there. I've been doing a lot of Minecraft lately. Oh, it's so much fun. So listen, until next time, you know what to do, right? I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, and please, please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great day, everybody, and bye for now.